Hi, good morning, everybody. How you guys doing? Welcome to Manlaca Broadcast Network, today's health bulletin. My name is Ida Serino Lee. I am Ambassador Ida Serino Lee. I'm a holistic health practitioner, and I'm also an integrative nutrition coach. And today, we're going to discover the different food labels. We're going to make sure that we don't get fooled by food labels. Okay, so that way you know when you're picking up your food and when you go to the grocery store, you know exactly why to pick up. Why we do this? Why we do a health bulletin here at Malacca Broadcast Network? We do a health bulletin because we want our ambassadors and the kingdom of God, we want our citizens to be healthy. Hi, Miss Veronique. To be healthy and to be able to fulfill their dreams and their God-given purpose. And the only way that they're going to be able to do that is if they be healthy. They need to be healthy in order for us to be able to fulfill our God-given purpose. Okay? So let's start. Let's put the PowerPoint, please. Okay, so don't get fooled by food labels. I don't know if you noticed. All the foods out there, when you go to the grocery store, they put different claims. We also need to read the labels to know what is the nutrient content and what the ingredients, because all that make a difference. And I know that a lot of people, oh, that's too much work. Listen, it's too much work maybe the first few times you go to the grocery store, because all of us have a standard food that we always eat. Once you figure out the standard food that you always eat, what is the brand that have the healthiest one and stuff like that, then you don't have to do it again because you know what to pick up. But it's a little homework that you're gonna have to do the first few weeks in order for you to know exactly what you need and you get healthy ingredients for your food. Okay? So let's go to the next one. So the first thing that we want to do is want to learn how to read the label, the nutritional fact label. So behind every food that you buy, they have a nutritional fact label because it's by law that they put that in there. So the first thing that you're going to find in the very top is the servings. This is very important that you know the servings, because people think sometimes that when you tell you the amount of calories here where it says 230, people think it's that the whole package is 230. No, it's per serving. And what you might think is a serving is not. Usually, like for example, when you open a box of cereal, people think that a bowl of cereal, like a bowl of cereal is a serving. Really, you probably have 2 or 3 servings inside, because half a cup of cereal is a serving. So there's nobody out there that telling me that eating only one service at a time. I don't know yet somebody that only can have 1 cup of cereal. I don't know nobody that can do that. So it's very important that you understand how many servings are in your package and how much is 1 serving. So you know exactly how much calories and nutrients are you getting. Then the next thing that you're going to see is the amount of calories. And this always is the calories per serving, not the calories in total. Now, for example, cereals that you're supposed to eat it with milk, okay, they will have a line where that said what is the nutrient value and calories and all that when you eating the cereal by itself, and another one when you eating it with low fat milk. They don't add it if you eating it with an organic milk or you eating it with a plant-based milk. They don't doing that. They just doing with low fat milk. So you make sure that you take that into account when you are eating your cereal. Okay. So the first thing that you're gonna see is the total fat, and then you're going to see the saturated fat, and then you're going to say the trans fat. Okay, and you don't want no trans fat in your food. Okay, and minimum as minimal as you can of saturated fat, especially if they're saturated. And when you look at this, what is going to make it important to you is when we go to the ingredients to see what kind of fat are they using, because remember that fat is necessary. Okay, fat is necessary, and about 60% of our brain is made out of fat. So we need fat. So that low fat thing that they used to have in the SAT diet pyramid in America is not the real thing. I mean, it's not the correct thing. Okay, so just do that, and then you're gonna see your cholesterol, and then you're gonna see your sodium. Okay, your sodium is very important that you look at how much sodium that you have, and because we don't supposed to have more than 2,000 milligrams of sodium a day. And 2,000 milligrams of sodium a day is about uh, 2 teaspoons, or a little less than 2 teaspoons a day. So if you notice, foods that are frozen or canned have lots and lots of sodium. So you really don't want to have, that type of food because they have too much sodium. That means that you're going to be eating the whole amount of sodium that you need for one day in one meal. And then you still have other meals in the day that you have to take. So that's not going to be a good idea. Okay. Then the next thing that you're going to see is the total carbohydrates. They tell you the percentage and the grams of carbohydrates. So if you're doing a keto diet or you're doing a low carb diet, then that is important for you. Then it's going to tell you how many of that carbohydrate have fiber. Okay. Then they're going to tell you the total amount of sugar that the food contain, and then the added sugar. Okay, when they're telling you the total amount of sugar, they are counting the sugar that comes from the natural ingredient. Let's say you are eating some applesauce. You know that apples regularly have sugar, so that total over here is going to include the sugar, the natural sugar that comes with that particular fruit, and also the added sugar if they added any. Okay, so now and the added sugar is when they add more sugar into the food. So what you want to do is, like, let's say if you're buying juices in the supermarket, you're eating canned fruits or packaged fruits, in the syrup and all that stuff. You want to make sure they have no added sugar. Okay? Yes, Ambassador Veronique, you want the sea salt, the salt that she mentioned there. That's exactly what you want. So another thing is that, for example, the sugar, like I was telling you, you don't want any added sugar, and you want to have less than 6 grams of sugar. If when you go to the total amount of sugar, you got more than between 6 and 10 grams of sugar there, then it's too much. If you got more than that, it's too much sugar. You don't want to drink that. Okay, so it's important that you know. Then after that, it's going to tell you the amount of proteins, gram of proteins, and then it's going to give you the list of the vitamins and minerals that it contains. Most of the time, unless it's a natural food that you're taking, most of the time all these are added that they fortify the food. Okay, so that's the way that you read your labels. So remember that you need to know per serving, that this is the amount of calories per serving. Okay, and the very important, the amount of sugar you want to consume less than 6 grams of sugar per serving. Because remember, if you're gonna eat, if it is a bowl of cereals and you're having a bowl when you're supposed to have only half a cup, that means that you in a bowl you probably have like 3 servings of cereal there, and each one is more than 6. You're having 30 servings of 30 grams of more than 30 grams of sugar there. You don't want that. So it's very important for you to make sure that you read this part of the label. Okay, so now let's go to the ingredients, and this is very important. Now, when you read the list of ingredients, it's important for you to understand that the ingredients are in order of amount. Okay, they write them in order of amount, meaning that whatever the first 3 or 4 things is what you have the most, and then everything else is a little less and a little less and a little less until the last one. Okay, so for example, when we look in here, this is the nutrition information for Quaker chewy granola bars. Okay, and it says they have granola whole grain oats. Then you have brown sugar. Then you have rice flour, and then you also have sugar and have salt. And let me show you only how many sugars are in this particular food item. If you look, it has brown sugar, sugar over here, corn syrup, sugar, corn syrup solid, sorbitol, molasses. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 types of sugar. And this is considered, you consider a granola bar a healthy food. Not to mention that the granola whole grains and the rice, those are carbohydrate that is also going to turn to sugar. Actually, 9 sugars, because they forgot that malted barley also is a carbohydrate that is also going to turn into sugar, as well as the grain rolled wheat. So you have a lot, and then they have a lot of let me see what else it said. Soybean oil. Soybean oil is an oil that is going to create inflammation in your body. So that's another thing that you don't want to have. And what else we have? We have soy lecithin. Soy lecithin. Remember that the soy here in America, especially, is GMO, means that it's genetically modified. So that is not good with you, because soy tends to increase your amount of estrogen. And when you increase the amount of estrogen, you are increasing your risk of cancer, especially breast cancer or prostate cancer. Okay, so that's like the things that you have to make sure that you read in the order of ingredients, that you understand that the ingredients are in order of amount, and you want to eat something that have no more than 5 ingredients, and that sugar is not in the first 3. Okay, so that's very important that you read this when you come to the ingredients. Another thing that, for example, you see on the ingredient, it says contain wheat, coconut, soy. That's because these are things that can be allergens, and they want you to know that it contain it. And also, it may contain traces of peanut. This doesn't contain peanuts, the ingredient, the recipe, but they might be cooking it in a place where they also cook things that have peanut and might have some kind of contamination with it, and that's the reason why they put it there. So it's very important for you to read this, especially if you suffer of allergies. Okay, it's very, very important. Let's go to the next. The less ingredients, yes, Miss Victoria, the less ingredients, the closer to recognize the body recognize. Yes, that's right. That's right. Okay, so this is another food label that I want you to see, ingredients, so you see what kind of ingredients. Those are things that are common for us to eat, and really we don't really realize how bad they are for us. For example, this is a yogurt, a Yoplait yogurt. That's the brand for this one, and you have the. If you can read at the ingredients, they have the culture pasteurized grade A, have reduced fat milk, you have sugar, strawberry, cornstarch. That's another type of sugar there. And you have the vitamin and stuff like that. So you can see natural flavor. You have natural flavor. Listen, natural flavor doesn't mean that they're natural, okay? Natural flavors that they use, uh, uh, no food additives. They use food products that they mix together to create a flavor. But that means that they have taken chemicals out of the food or part of the food to create a new flavor. And they do it to enhance the flavor. Do you know that there's a company out there that all they do is making sure that the food is addictive for us? And they give the different combinations to the Food and Drug Administration, so that when they make the food, they know what to add on it. It's very, very important that you read your labels. And this one, for example, it says in the bottom over here that contains wheat, almond, and milk and soy. Like I tell you, those are allergens, and I want to make sure that you know that it contains that, so you make sure you don't consume it. So reading your labels and reading the ingredients is very, very important. Very, very important. Okay, so now let's start with the different claim labels. Okay, how do you identify your products? How do I know if my products are organic, if they are GMOs, or if they are conventional? Okay, so you know that, I don't know in other countries, but here in America, they put a little label to the fruits and the vegetables. Okay, and when you go to the produce aisles, so if the label have 5 digits and it start with a 9, it's an organic. Okay, you have 5 digits and it start with a 9 is organic. If it have 4 digits and it start with a 4, it's conventional. What conventional means? Conventional means that it was grown with pesticides and herbicides, but it's not a GMO. So that means that if you have to buy those ones, make sure that you clean it when you go home. Anyway, you clean all of them, because even the organic might not have the herbicides and all that other stuff, but you don't know how many hands touch that particular vegetables, and the people wash their hands when they went to the bathroom or something like that. When they touch, to see if they're ripe or which one look better. When they pick it, you want to make sure that you wash your vegetables in your fruits as soon as you get home. Don't wait until, a lot of people go and buy the groceries, and then they come home and they put it in the refrigerator, and then they wash it when they're going to use it. You don't want to do that, because when you do that, you're cultivating more of the bacteria that it has on, and you're allowing the herbicides and pesticides to even penetrate more. You want to make sure that you wash it right there at when you grocery, you come home, before you put it away, you want to wash it there. You get a big bowl, you put some water, a little bit of vinegar, and some sodium bicarbonate, and you put it in there, and you let it simmer there for about 10 minutes. Then you take it out, you dry it very well, and then you put it away the way that they're supposed to be stored, whether they need to be stored in the pantry, whether they need to be stored in the refrigerator, on your crisper, and you put it there. So that's make sure. And then if you have 5 digit and it start with the eight, it's a GMO. So start reading your labels. Now make sure that you go to the EWG and get the list of which one are the dirty dozen. That means that those are the ones that have pesticides and things like that, and you really wanted to buy it organic. And then everything else you can buy it conventional, because you can peel it at home and watch it. Like bananas, you can peel it and watch it. Avocados, you can peel it. So you're not going to get so much of the pesticides. So those are the ones that are okay for you to buy conventional, but then they're going to give you the dirty dozens are the ones that you really want to buy organic. Okay, so that's very, very important. Now let me tell you something. They make farmers go to so many hoops so that they can classify their food organic. And that's why sometimes they don't do that. It's crazy the way that the law is when it comes to that kind of stuff. Okay, so what non-GMO means? Non-GMO means that it's certified products that have been verified to have been grown and processed without any genetic modification. So if you have this label on it, that means that it's non-GMO. Now, there's foods out there that might have 1 or 2 ingredients that are non-GMO, but everything else in the way they cook it is all bad. I mean, it's worse than if they would have pesticides and herbicides, because all the ingredients that, let's say that you buy in frozen potato scallops. That is a plate that they do here in America, where they slice the potato, potatoes and cheese and sauce, potatoes and cheese and sauce. It's scallop potatoes, okay? And you buy it already ready in the freezer, and it might say it's non-GMO product. That means that the potatoes itself are not GMO, but you don't know what other ingredients that they put there in the sauces, and what other added preservative and ingredients to make the sauce thicker and to add flavor to the sauce and things like that. So anyway, even if you say non-GMO, or even if they say organic, because the potato were organic, it's still not a healthy thing. Okay, so that's how they fool you. Another labels that you're gonna see is the vegan label, or certified vegan, or non-animal tested. What does that mean? That means that when a product is labeled vegan, it means that the product doesn't contain any animal ingredient, including animal byproducts such as milk, colostrum, eggs, honey, liquids, or gelatin. So you have to have no animal product in order for it to be considered vegan. Even the additives that they add to it cannot come from an animal product. Okay, so that's what vegan means. It honestly came from the earth. Now, this is this is another way that they fool people. That now what the companies are doing is that they have a lot of plant-based foods. And even those that plant-based food might be a little bit healthier than some other conventional food, okay? And it will be a good transition for those that want to go from meat eating to a vegan diet, and they want to do it, transition slowly. This might be a good idea, but not necessarily the most healthy idea. Okay, because plant-based means that consists mainly of ingredients derived from plants that doesn't include any animal ingredients. So the ingredients that it come from plants, but it doesn't have any animal ingredient. But the means that doesn't have the most, it doesn't have to have the most healthy ones. For example, Garden Inn is one of the most famous plant-based meals that we can find out there, but it's processed. And yes, it doesn't have any meat whatsoever, but if you look at the ingredients, it have the soy protein. We talked already about the soy here in America. It's all GMO. Okay, and it's going to increase your estrogen concentration, putting you at risk of cancer. It has canola oil. Canola oil is high in omega-6 and increased inflammation. It's pro-inflammatory. You have with gluten, that the gluten, that it causes celiac disease, gluten insensitivity, leaky gut, cause inflammation. Okay, so you already know that, and have more food. What else do they have here that it might be bad? Let me look at the list here. Well, most of the other things doesn't look so bad. The methyl cellulose is not necessarily a healthy thing. Okay, the cellulose that they take out for the plant, but all the nutrients and everything is taken out, so you get that like clog into your intestines. So it's not necessarily the best. It has sugar, as you can see here, and it have natural flavors. Remember what I tell you about natural flavors? That it's chemicals that they take out of the plant. They're not using the whole plant. They're taking one chemical out of this plant or that plant or that plant, and they create a new chemical. Now, because they took it out of plants, then they can put the label plant-based. Okay? And you see that it talk about the allergens and warning here that it contains soy. And we say if you have celiac, if you have gluten sensitivity, you know you're not supposed to have this. And if you are somebody with a high risk of breast cancer, prostate cancer, you want to make sure that you reduce the amount of soy. So don't get fooled by all these plant-based foods that they have right now, all that Beyond Meat and all the other stuff. All that things are not. If you want to be vegan, you want to eat plants, legumes, roots, herbs and spices, fruits. That's what you want to eat. You don't want to eat all this whatever. You can make that at home. You can make these at home, the meatballs at home. You know, you can use nuts. You can use like pecans or walnuts and crush it and season it and make it like meat and make it seasoning like meat and create the meatballs. You don't necessarily need all this garbage. I call it garbage to put there. Okay, so now another claim. Now we're going to start with the claims and the labels that you see in the food. When the food said all natural, it means I have no other artificial synthetic ingredients, including colors, okay, including any colors or flavors or anything like that. It said all natural. But that doesn't mean necessarily that it's all healthy, because a lot of these juices that you see here, they are all natural. But when you go back to the nutrition label, you have tons, 20, 30, 36 grams of sugar. That means like six teaspoons of sugar in one juice like that. So the fact that they're all natural not necessarily means all healthy. Okay. The next one is gluten free. Gluten free means that it has less than 20 parts per million of gluten. So that means that it can have a tiny, 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 tiny little bit of gluten. So it's better instead of using things I said gluten free, it's better not to eat anything that have grain, not to eat anything that have, keep more into the plant and natural vegan kind of foods, so that way you don't make sure that you don't have to use anything that can be contaminated with any little bit of gluten, especially if you have gluten sensitivity, if you already have high inflammation in your body, if you're suffering of leaky gut or celiac disease. Okay, so that's very, very important. But and let me tell you something, gluten free also, because they make gluten free pasta, gluten free cookies and cake and all that kind of stuff. Because they're gluten free, that doesn't mean that they're not sugar high or fat high or toxin high or preservative and chemicals high or artificial flavors, colors, or preservative. Okay, so that's why you want to make sure that you read the labels. That the fact that they have this sign on it, that doesn't mean much. Okay. Another claim is 100% organic. Okay, so the 100% organic, uh, um, can the producer take the picture? Yeah, so I can read the bottom. Okay, so the 100% organic says, when it said 100% organic must contain only organically produced ingredients and processing aids, including water and salt. No other ingredients or additives are permitted. That's the one that are 100%. The one that said at least 95% of the ingredients are organic. If you have the 100%, but it doesn't have the USDA certification, most likely is at least 95% of ingredients are organic. But when you have the 100%, but it also have the USDA certification, that it means that it's a whole 100% organic. Okay, and then when it says made with organic, that means that 70% of the ingredients in that particular recipe it have organic ingredients. Okay, so the labels that contain the USDA is the one that is 100% organic. You have to be 100% organic in order to have the USDA. So a lot of companies don't have the money to go through all the process, for the USDA, and they have the label organic. So you have to make sure that you read the ingredients to make sure that for real it's organic, everything is organic, because it might not be, being that they don't have them, they didn't purchase the USDA label on it. So it's very important that you check the ingredients. Another thing is that, like I mentioned before, one thing can be organic. Let's say, like I was telling you about the potatoes, or make sure, let's say applesauce. It could be that the apples that they use are organic, but then they add up sugar on it and all the other stuff that, even though it's organic, is not healthy for you. So that's why it's important not only to follow the label, but also to check the ingredients in the back. The fact that it's organic doesn't mean also that it's not GMO, because I've seen plenty of things that they are organic because they didn't put any chemicals or whatever, but they were GMOs. You don't find that combination very much, but rarely you find it, but I've seen it before. Okay, so the next label is whole grain. Whole grain means that include the entire grain seed, the bran, the germ, and the endosperm. When whole grains are cracked, crushed, or rolled, stewed, and or cooked, they still contain naturally occurring nutrients. The thing is that the whole grain is the one that contains everything on it. When they process it and they take out all the stuff just to have the white, that's where you get the white flour, the flour that you use for cakes and pasta and all that stuff. Then they take out all the nutrients, and that's why they spike your sugar so quickly. But when you have the whole grain, that means that you have everything that the plant contains, all the nutrients, all the phytonutrients, all the minerals, and everything that it contains is there. So that's what whole grain means. But also, because it say whole grain, doesn't mean that it's entirely healthy, because a lot of breads and stuff like that, they say whole grain, but then they put canola oil on it. Or they put saturated fat on it that is not healthy. Or they put a preservative there that is not healthy. So those are things that you cannot that you have to make sure that you check out. Are you watching me? I think my phone got me out. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. It's my mommy. Mommy, I'm in a video right now. Call me later. I apologize, but this is life, and that's what life is all about. That's what life is all about. So it's my mommy, and my mom is 82 years old, so I have to take care of my mommy. Okay, Lord. Let's go to the next one. The next one is calorie free. When something said that it's calorie free, that means that it have less than 5 calories. So don't go and eat a whole bunch of it, because 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 it's gonna add up. And the fact that when things have little calories, that means also they have little nutrients. Okay, when they have little calories, it means that they have little nutrients. That means that they need a lot of more other garbage to maintain that food together. Okay, and to give it flavor, because the nutrients, okay, and the fiber and everything else is what giving the flavor, is what give the calories. So when it doesn't have the calories, that means that it have a lot of other stuff, and we need the fat and we need the other nutrients that also have calories. Okay, so that's very important. So that doesn't mean that you're going to lose weight because it's only 5, because you keep eating and eating because it's calorie free. You are putting a lot of other stuff, a lot of other toxins. Let's say it might have some toxins that are obesinogens. That means there are toxins that hijack your fat cells and you're not able to lose weight. And here you are drinking everything that say no calories, and you're gaining weight or not able to lose weight because you're doing everything else right, but you eating this thing. Okay, so that's something very important for you to know. Okay, when it says all natural, that means there's no added artificial or synthetic ingredients, including no additive colors or no additive flavors. So that means all natural. And that the same thing comes also to the skin ingredients, or shampoos and stuff like that. It's all natural. That means that every ingredient that they have, it comes from a plant, and it's all natural. Okay? But that not necessarily means all the time that it's all healthy, but it's all natural. Okay, when it said low fat or low sugar, it means less than half a gram of fat or sugar. Okay, less than half a gram of fat or sugar. So it could be good, but when it comes to the less sugar, but not necessarily for the less fat. Oh my God, let me turn off this phone. I apologize. Sorry. I know this is live, so I apologize. I forgot how to turn on the phone. Let me turn it on. It's off. It's off. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Oh, this is the one that said no sugar. That means that it cannot be processed with any sugar or sugar containing ingredients. No sugar means it cannot be processed with any sugar or sugar containing ingredients. But no added sugar means that no ingredient containing sugar were added during the manufacturing or process. Okay, so when it says no sugar, that means that it doesn't have no ingredients that have sugar. But when he said no sugar added, it means it can be something that have natural sugars, like applesauce will have natural sugars, or if you buy canned fruits, it will have natural sugars. But if they say no sugar added, or juices can have natural sugar, but if they said no sugar added, that means that they didn't put any extra sugar to enhance the flavor. But when it says no natural sugar, no, when it says no sugar at all, that means that it doesn't have no sugar. But that is also tricky because since they put over 72 names to sugar, and they use sugar for emulsifying, they use sugar for thickening, they use sugar for color, they use sugar for preservative. Okay, they might not have, the food might say no sugar, it might have no fructose, it might not have no sucralose, it might not have no table sugar, no brown sugar, no cane sugar, but it might have maltodextrin, or it might have molasses, or something that is not a regular sugar that you can recognize, and they still put that label no sugar. So be careful with that, okay? Now, the other ones are healthy claims. What are the healthy claims that they put into food? As you can see in this picture over here, this one said here that it support your immune system. This one here said that it support your heart. This one said here that it's healthy for kids. This one said here that it's good for your bones. And I forgot what the crispy cocoa seed, because I cannot see what it says, but it also says something that is healthy for something. But what the healthy claims means? They put healthy claims when something is low fat, when something is have low saturated fat, when something have less than 480 milligrams of sodium, when something have less than 95 milligrams of cholesterol. They also put a healthy claim when something have at least 10% of the daily value of any vitamin. Like when they say high in vitamin C, high in vitamin A, high in calcium, high in protein or potassium, whatever those things, that means that it at least has 10% of the daily value of the vitamin that they're talking about. And also, it says here that food does not need to be low in the total fat, but has a fat profile makeup or predominantly less fat. So that's why they can put those claims in order, and they do that to catch people. That way, people think that it's healthy. Do you think that the cocoa crispy are healthy? That have BH2, which is a chemical that is carcinogen. That have tons of sugar, also, and it have a lot of carbohydrates. That is not healthy at all. For example, the oatmeal, the heart healthy oatmeal, okay, that they say that the oats are healthy for your heart. It is when it's organic, but if this one is not organic and it's the ones with flavors, they add a sugar, they add preservative, and it's not really heart healthy, because if they add all these things, or they may be made with canola oil or synthetic vegetables oils, that is going to increase inflammation anyway, then it's still not going to be heart healthy. So that's why don't get fooled by those type of labels. You need, like I said, you look at the label, but also, the claim labels. Also go to the back and look at the ingredients. And look at the nutritional table. Okay, it's very, very, very important. And then what is on other food labels? It says, for example, if it says high fiber, that means that it's 5 or more grams of fiber. If you say high in anything, let's say high in vitamin C, high in whatever, they say that it's high. That means that it provides 20% or more, like I said before, of that particular nutrient. If you said light, that means that it have 1/3 fewer calories of the usual food. Okay, you have 1/3 fewer calories of the usual food, or half the fat of the usual food. Okay, when it said light or light. When it said low cholesterol, that means they have less than 20 milligrams of cholesterol, or 2 grams or less of saturated fat. When it said low sodium, it's funny, let me tell you something. It's funny when it said low cholesterol, but do you know that most of the cholesterol and the cholesterol that get into your arteries and block out your arteries are made because of the amount of sugar that we consume? So if you consume something that have more fat but no sugar, it will be healthier than something that have no fat and tons of sugar. Okay, so make sure that you know that. And then low sodium means that they have less than 140 milligrams of sodium. And when something said reduced, that means I have less than 25% of the specified nutrient of calories than the usual product. So this is how labels, we need to be very careful on what we buy. When we go to the grocery shopping, we have to do the diligent and search on the label. Make sure that you're looking at the whatever claims that they're saying, and then you're looking at the table of content and of ingredients, and also at the nutrients. So that way you can pick up the better things, the healthier things. And remember, if you're gonna buy something that is processed because you want your life to be easy, make sure that I have less than 5 ingredients, and that ingredients are ingredients that you can pronounce. If you cannot pronounce the ingredients, that means that it's a chemical. Because every fruit, every vegetable, every herb, all have very simple names that you can pronounce. So you want to make sure that you want to, when you go to the grocery store, you want to do most of your shopping in the peripheral areas of your grocery store, and not so much in the aisles, because in the aisles, well, you're going to find all the processed food that you have there. You want to cook at home. If you are the person that don't like to cook at home, then pick a day. If you pick a day, instead of having to cook every single day, pick a day and prep up your food. Prep all your food right there. Cook it, freeze it. You can dry freeze it. You can dehydrate it. You can put it in portions, and you can vacuum package it so it can last you longer. So that means you might want to cook just once a month and have all this in the freezer and already saved, so you don't have to cook every day. But the thing is that you want to make sure that you have healthy food, in range for you. Healthy food in your refrigerator and your pantry, to make sure that you eat healthy, so you give yourselves everything that they need. Remember that I always tell you, we want to become the CEO of our body. And if you want to become the CEO of your body, that means that you want to take control of what you're putting in and what you're taking out. And you want to make sure that everything is working right. Okay, everything is working right, and that your cells can be working in the highest healing potential, so that you can stay healthy. So what that means, that if you're the CEO of your body, that means that your cells are your employees, your organs, okay, are your equipment, your systems are your department, and your nutrition and lifestyle is your human resources. So as a CEO of your body, are you giving yourselves the equipment that they need in order for them to work in the highest healing potential? Are you making sure that your organs, your equipment have been calibrated, detox, making sure that they're working correctly? Are you making sure that the system, the departments are working together? Because we are not, the medicine nowadays, they compartmentalize us to different things. Okay, but we should not be compartmentalized. We are all in one. Okay, and are you making sure that you adopting a healthy lifestyle, okay, and good nutrition, so that your body can work in the highest healing potential, so that you can fulfill your God-given purpose? As ambassadors, our job is for us to spread the kingdom of God, okay, and use our talents and gifts that God has given us, so that we can infiltrate the world, expand the kingdom of God, and bring more into the knowledge of the kingdom and Jesus Christ. But if we are not healthy and capable to do the things that God wants us to do, we're not going to be able to do it. That's why the richest place in the world is the cemetery, because a lot of us go out prematurely with the book that we're supposed to read, and the people we're supposed to talk, and the cures that we're supposed to discover, and the songs that we're supposed to sing, and the people that we're supposed to impact, and the discoveries and innovations that we're supposed to do. All that is gone. Why? Because we didn't take care of ourselves. So it's very, very important. Remember that we are the temple of God. That means that your body is the temple of God. It's the temple and the housing of the Holy Spirit. Okay, you will not bring the Holy. Let's say Jesus was knocking on your door right now. You're not going to bring it to a messy house, will you? No, you wouldn't. Because we are kingdom citizens. I don't know if you ever seen a movie or royalty, but there's nothing messy in a kingdom, nothing disorganized. God is not a messy God. Everything's organized and working properly. So we need to allow our body to work and be organized and work properly in order for us to take care of ourselves and be able to fulfill everything that God has put for us. So remember what I always tell you, that the doctor is responsible for your sick care, and yes, you are important of your health care. So take care, and I see you next week. Bye.